Have you ever struggled with trying to measure your bicep using a standard tape measure? I have. Measuring things like your bicep or anything where you have to wrap the tape measure around your body, get it parallel to the floor or in position properly, and then find the number that's corresponding to where the end of the tape measure is, can be a pain, especially if you have mobility issues or you just have a hard time doing awkward measurements like the bicep. I like to point that one out because I have a hard time with that. You have to wrap the tape measure around your body, and then you have to crane your neck or try to feel for where that end of that tape measure is and then look and see what you get as a number. That's kind of hard to do by yourself. I was looking for a good alternative for that, and I found the Fit Index digital tape measure. Now this tape measure is amazing because when you turn it on as a standalone thing, the measurements are on the screen. So if you want to take a measurement and then when you're finished measuring, you can look at the screen and you can record the number. So right out of the gate, I thought that was very cool. But then I started playing with the corresponding app for your phone that comes with it, and it got so much better. So let me show you how to use this. Now to set it up, you're going to need a set of small mini screwdrivers. You need a tiny Phillips screwdriver to unscrew this backing. And I'm just going to show you, it's not hard. The Phillips. A 4mm Phillips is what you need. So you lefty-loosey it, and then when you've loosened it enough, this comes out. Little backing comes out. And actually, I already popped this in. So just to show you. Okay, the battery comes separate. You have to unwrap it. And then you put the side where you can see the writing in here, like this. And you have to push it down. Okay. Okay, it snaps in. And where it's catching it are these two little white things here and here. So make sure you have those lined up. It snaps in. And then there's a little catch right here that goes opposite the hole, like this. You put the cover back on, and then you righty-tighty to put the cover back on, like that. Okay, and it should be a little bit recessed. Okay, so now that is all set. So once you've done that, the next step is you want to pair your Fit Index with your phone, and it's very simple. So first you have to go to the App Store and get the Fit Index app. It was very easy to find. Then you turn the tape measure on by pressing this button with your Bluetooth on your phone, and it will pair with your device. So it's very easy. It just paired automatically. The little top circle here will blink until it's done pairing. I've already paired it, so you can see now it's stopped blinking. When you sign up, make an account, and then you come to the screen, the first thing it's going to ask you is for your name and your height and your birthday, whatever. You put that in there, and you can see I'm the primary user here. If you have a sewing business and you do fitting for clients, you can add them in here. So you can keep records of yourself and anyone else you would like to do, and you can keep track of changes. So you can take a set of measurements and then you can take another set of measurements on a different day, and it will record that for you. So I just find this very exciting. If you're into fitness, you can use this to pair with a digital scale, and you can keep track of your weight, and you can keep track of all these different things. I'm probably going to just use mine to take care of keeping my measurements straight. But basically, the way this is going to work is you go to measurements, and it will come up with weight. I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'm going to hit the circumference button, and you can see we've got a variety of different things set up in here that we can keep track of. For example, we've got neck, shoulders, chest, waist, abdomen, hip, bicep, Why did I say bicep, bicep? Because you get left bicep, you get right bicep. I love that. Left thigh, left calf, right calf. Now, what else as sewers do we need? We need, I mean, we can use chest as high bust, I guess, but you can add your own measurements in here. So I added high bust and full bust. Okay, and if you have other things you want to measure, you can add those in here as well. So I think it's very cool. Now I've already used this and I've tried, I've tried it a little bit to practice, but basically, you saw me try to do my bicep. That's a pain. Let me show you how to do bicep, and I'll show you a few other things, but this is so cool. So I'm going to select what I want to do. So let me do my right bicep. Now, it currently says 11.81 inches because that's what it was when I measured it before. I'm going to turn on my fit index. And now the only thing about this is it shuts off every time you're done using it. So if you put it down between measurements, it's going to turn off. You just have to press the power button again. I'm going to insert the end into this little space. And then make sure it's not twisted. So notice I've made a loop that's bigger than I need. And notice my number on my phone has changed to 21.75 inches because that's what this measures right now. So I am going to put this on. And then there's a little gray button on the side. I'm going to press the little gray button and watch what happens. Okay, so you can see I'm getting 11.44 if I put it here. I'm going to move it up a little higher. And I'm getting 12 inches, right? So you can play with the position of the tape measure on your arm until, you know, you've got it right where you want it. And you can check to see if it's parallel to the floor. You can, you know, worry about what the tape measure is doing around your arm, positioning it around your arm without worrying about keeping the ends together, right? Look, I'm not even holding it and it's staying. So it records the measurement, and when I want to save it, I select the date, which is today, and then I press save, and now I've got my measurement in there. So let's try another one. I think this is so fun. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out and make it bigger. I'm going to select my abdomen. Okay, so I'm going to pull out this tape measure so it's bigger than I need. And I'm going to hitch it up, making sure it's not twisted. I'm going to press the little gray button on the side and see how it just tightens right up against me. You know, and I can adjust and I can keep squeezing that button until I get it exactly where I want, right? And I've got a nice position on my tape measure. And I don't even have to hold this if I don't want to. I can, you know, use this to get the tape measure in agreement. Then I'll just give that little gray button one more press to get a final measurement. And notice I got 40.93 inches. So I'm going to say, all right, select the date, save. Now I've got my abdomen measurement. Okay, and I just want to show you, this is the gray button I'm talking about. You press that and it retracts, right? And you can retract it back when you're done, but that's how you can tighten it, you know, when it's on your body. When you set up your app, if you go over to your account and go to settings, there is a place to change your measurements. So you've got weight units and length units. I have mine on inches, okay? And then when I went to take a measurement, it was giving it to me in centimeters and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Well, what was wrong was you can manually change the units of measure just by touching this M button. So notice if I pull the tape measure out a little bit, I've got 7.3 inches, but if I press M, it will convert it to centimeters for me. So here's the thing. If you're working with a pattern and it's in inches and you want to know how many centimeters it is, you can use this as a conversion tool as well. So there's a lot of times where I want to show centimeters, or if I'm thinking about centimeters and inches, you can simply, just put the measurement in you need by drawing out the tape measure, get the number you want. Let's say you had 36 centimeters. Now I know that's 14.22 inches. So I think that's very cool, and I wouldn't have thought of that if I hadn't inadvertently pressed this M button and I had to figure out why it was showing me centimeters instead of inches. The other thing is, I'm kind of excited about their customer service. I want to see if it works. Notice up here there's a little help button. If you press that, it gives you a place to leave a message. So I left a message. Why is my units changing to centimeters when I take a measurement? I'm going to see if I get an answer back. I just posted that earlier when I was figuring it out, and I figured it out myself, but it'll be interesting to see if they respond back to me. There's also a customer service hotline number in the account settings. So I feel like this has good support, and it's very easy to use. It's very intuitive. You can use it either with the app or without the app. If you just want to take measurements and then look at the screen and record them in a chart somewhere, you can do that as well. So I think this is a very cool tool. It's the Fit Index digital tape measure with an app for your phone. This one goes to 60 inches. I'm going to look for another version that goes past 60 inches. So I'm sorry I didn't think of that before I ordered this. So I'm going to go back in and look for one that has a more inclusive size range in terms of length of tape measure, and then I will do a companion cool tool for that one. So for now, this one goes to 60 inches. If you have any questions or comments, please post those below and I will help you. If you're enjoying my content, consider liking and subscribing to my channel because it helps me grow. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching.